coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, on 2022. What's up, inner tubes? Here I go again. Girls, what's my weakness? Crack! Because I smoke crack. No, I don't, but I feel whack. Because today's been one of those days on 2/2/22. How we doing, man?
Wow. Nice promo, bro. Where did you get it started? Awesome.
Sick reference, nice promo. It was just one of those days. We're on the verge of Snowpocalypse 2 Electric Boogaloo here in Austin, Texas. We'll run on toilet paper and queso because it's Austin, Texas. Why?
You need those things in case of a disaster. Queso and the toilet paper in that order.
Yes, in that order, exactly. Yeah, because if you do it the other way, it just doesn't work as well. Funny enough, I installed bidets after that disaster, and I had a bidet disaster. So a disaster caused another disaster.
Is that a bidet stir?
Yeah, bidet stir. Bidet stir. Yeah, I think it was, but yeah. I think I sent you the picture. It's literally just holding the hose, and the water was just coming out of it, and I was just basically almost in tears.
Yeah,
because
you had some serious plumbing issues.
Yeah, there was some serious plumbing issues. Unrelated to the serious plumbing issues that's going to happen to all you mothers that took all the queso and all the toilet paper. Because it might not be that bad. I mean, we had 2 blizzards last year, so everybody's scarred.
Everyone is shell-shocked. I just went to the local Herbert Edward Butt store, and it's chaos.
I love that
you would think it was going to be like, you'd think it was going to be another disaster. Well, I mean, I guess people are pretty shell-shocked from
Everybody are scarred between COVID and the other blizzards in Austin. Dogs and cats living together to the point that you're using his government name, Herbert Edward Butts
store.
HEB, the best, providing the best chips and just the best all-around service. Man.
Holding the fabric of society together.
Yeah, well, definitely in Texas. Concerned. It starts with Texas. Maybe HEB should be in charge of the electrical grid here in Texas. How about that? Now that's independence, Governor Abbott. But we're not going to get political. But yeah, HEB, please run.
Sorry, I was a little late on that.
Yeah, please run the electrical grid. So we're going a little early because just in case the roads do get a little icy.
Actually, we're right on time.
Oh yeah,
for the first time ever. So we're starting early, but usually because we start late.
You're right. Yeah. So actually, we are right on time. That's so meta. That's so meta. We had a fun podcast. If you have not listened to it, go check it out on your favorite pod platforms. But we talked about that. We're already in the metaverse.
I'm convinced
we're already there.
That's the case.
So, but the good news is the metaverse has beer.
Oh yes,
it has beer.
And what's today?
Today is Weird Beer Wednesday.
Damn it, I can't find. Oh, there.
I was like, wait, was I not supposed to do that?
I couldn't find the button for a second.
Button.
Sorry, we had a week remote. So
yeah, we did. That was we were remote. That's right. That's what feels a little thrown off. But yeah, button. Who's got the button? We're talking Willy Wonka. And we're talking weird beer. This is from Primo's collection. Do we want to give a summary of what we're going to talk about today?
Let's give a shout out to Primo real quick.
Primo.
Yeah, he's got a lot of beers from all around the country. Donated them to the show.
Oh, man, that used to be one of my favorite shows was 3 Sheets. I think we need 3 Sheets, the Primo edition.
3 Sheets? What's that?
Remember 3 Sheets with the guy?
This is another Central Islip Station show, isn't it? Never.
This was post-CI, but yeah, there was he used to just travel around to bars similar to how Adam Richman would travel around to food. It was like man versus food, but it was man versus booze.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I think he did one on a train, and then he called it Chug.
That's great.
Yeah.
These are great show ideas.
Yeah, he's great. 3 Sheets.
Where can we see these?
Yeah, I believe he might be.
Do I need to get Central Islip Plus?
CI Plus to get that. Yeah, we'll give a good plug because those are good shows. But yeah, we're going to drink in some beers. We're ready. Primo got us a good one. This one actually, we have a first here, the Dose Incredibles Network. We actually have a bottle today.
Let's take a look.
Not a can, a bottle. So, excuse me, Senor Pancho. I'm going to put our bottle right there. Check that out.
Oh, the focus is a little off.
Oh yeah. So it's Bourbon Country.
Pull it back to the
brand. Wait a minute, dude. This is gonna. Oh yeah. You want back with me?
Yeah. Focus is. I gotta focus that camera.
All right. Anyway, here we go. Right there. Boom. It is Bourbon Country brand classic cola stout. So it was the very first time we've had a cola stout. We've had a chocolate stout.
I don't even know what such a thing is.
We had a coffee stout. Now we got a cola stout.
Let's see the front of the label there.
Yeah, let's see. Get the.
I guess there is no label, is there?
No. It's actually
It's just got like a back label.
Yeah, it's embedded. Is that the right word? How do you do when you heat the words onto the bottle?
All right, let me focus this. Put this on the small shot again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Keep
let's
vamping.
do this. Keep vamping. I don't know why I did the here I go again. And then people were like, is he about to say his weakness is men? But I was like, no, it's crack. And then I was going, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Focus. You stay focused. Your best karate still inside. Now time let out. All right, sorry, I had to do the Miyagi quote there. But yeah, let's.
Excellent vamping, thank you.
Yeah, so you see how that's kind of embedded onto it's kind of chiseled, burned in.
Bourbon
singed.
Country Cola Stout.
Yeah, looks great. I'm excited about this one. And not because
Now, you're not like a stout guy, though.
Yeah, but this has cola in it. Like, I'm a mark for cola flavored stuff. Like, my favorite flavor of bottle caps is cola.
Yeah.
And even better if you get one cherry, one cola. And I like cola ices at the movies. I like cola snow cones. They used to have cola gum. So I'm excited about cola beer. Basically, this is cola beer.
Should I see if I can pull up this website here real quick?
Yeah,
Take a
let's
look?
pull it up while I do the pop, because I don't think we're going to get a pop. It's going to be more of a clank.
All right, here it is. It is Goose Island. Where is this from? They've got a lot of stuff going on. Oh, man, we're missing the pop.
Yeah, I didn't think it was
Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, Chicago. Sweet home, Chicago.
Let's see.
Want my baby all day long. I just merged Pride and Joy with Sweet Home Chicago.
All right, we're good on the vamping now.
All right. Sorry. Here we go.
Just
I like Guava Squad. That looks interesting.
yeah, Guava Squad. I'm trying to find this one they got. What is it? Oh, here it is. Bourbon Country.
Bourbon Country Cola.
Bourbon Country. All right. Folks are enjoying this. Me messing with
Goose
buttons.
Island brand.
Bourbon. I guess this is the one for this year. I don't know what year this one would come out.
This one didn't have a year on it.
Anyway, this is a lot of great info they're getting. So
Yeah, check it out.
we'll just move on to the thing.
All right, let's do I'm going to do the fake Caddyshack pop. You remember when you had the Perrier waters? Oh, whoa, yeah, that wasn't open already. All right, let's get the close-up, and I'll give the Senor Pancho the first taste. Because Senor Pancho always gets the first lick. Right there, right? Okay.
Nice.
Oh,
and
you
easy
hear
with
that
the pour.
guzzle?
See, now it's a stout, so it doesn't have a whole lot of carbonation.
Yeah, and I got a good guzzle there. We're still there? Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Looks good.
Well done.
Nice and even. All right, let me slap on that intern music, and I'll bring it over, and I'll bring the bottle for you, too.
Let's do it. There needs to be a shortcut for this. Thank you. All right.
All right. So let's give it the whiff test. Oh, yeah.
Good.
Thicker than a sticker. Thicker than a Snicker.
Do you smell the cola?
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, I do.
What are the chances are you think this is like really super strong?
Very high.
Viewers should know we're not like beer connoisseurs.
No, we're not.
This is not like a beer connoisseur show.
No,
This is just about weird beers
Yeah.
that we come upon.
I think this
Because
one's
lots of beers are weird.
like literally. I'm holding up to like studio lights, right? And you still can't even see a little bit through this.
I can't find any alcohol content on it.
This is dark as night.
It says develops. It's right here. It says develops in the bottle for 5 years. What? What does that even mean? I guess the beer sort of like continues to ferment.
It definitely smells fermented.
All I'm saying is this other bourbon country that I'm looking at, not this one, is 14%. So
Okay. Yeah, I think this one's going to be strong. Dude, Senor Pancho put on like 20 pounds. This is like, it even feels heavy in your hand.
yeah,
All right, let's do the best part. Drink it. All right.
All right.
Cheers. Salud.
Salud.
Oh, my God.
Ooh,
That was like doing a shot.
yeah, but it tastes like cola.
Yeah.
Whoa,
No.
oomph cola. That's got that oomph.
Yeah, that does got a whoop. It got the nipple hardation. I mean, it did do that. It was just like, wow. I was going to try to guzzle it, and then it like literally punched me in the mouth and said, not so fast.
No, stop what you're doing right there.
It said, not so fast, pal. Lord,
Wow. So if you're ever in Chicago, go over to Goose Island and get yourself some bourbon country because this is
dude, is there I think there's bourbon in that.
well, they age it in like bourbon barrels.
Oh, yeah, because you taste.
Something like that, right?
Oh,
so that's probably where it
man.
gets the extra kick.
Yeah, because I taste cola, but I taste bourbon more than is this like a quadruple shot of bourbon?
You know what this is? It even says on the bottle right here. It's a warning that this can enhance your feelings about wrestling angles and your opinions about them.
It's like we needed that, like because it's about to get real raw in here. But we're not talking raw. We're talking rumble.
Rumble.
I'm like, do we finish it? Like, is that the equivalent of doing like 5 shots?
No. I mean, it's probably the equivalent of like 2 shots.
Primo, call us.
Primo's got a house full of these. Like, if you could see Primo's house, it's got beer and Mondo posters everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I like it. I'm not going to say I dislike it, but it is the most unique beer we've ever had on this show, and probably the most unique beer I've ever tasted.
Yeah, it's
that safe?
It's like a really strong cola.
Yeah, that's like no beer I've ever tasted. I taste the cola. I taste the bourbon. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of a bourbon and Coke, like a Jack and Coke.
But it's a stout, and it's a little bit. It's not as foamy. Almost, it's got a little more. It's a little more runny than Guinness.
Yeah, I think this is gonna make like really hungry too. I think hunger will kick in.
They don't have it on the store anymore, but they've got lots of great bourbon countries you can get.
Thumbs up.
Check them out.
Yeah, check out the goose. Whew,
All
I
this
got my
stuff.
Christmas goose early. Remember that?
Yikes! No, what was that?
Airplane.
I don't remember that one.
John, what was the air traffic control guy?
Oh yeah.
Johnny?
I can make it a hat or
Yeah,
a brooch.
yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Whew, I got my Christmas goose early. Yeah, check it out. Goose Island, good stuff. Definitely the most unique beer we've ever tasted on this show.
Yeah.
And I've ever tasted in my life. I don't know if that's, I don't know how to segue speaking of unique because it's not unique.
All right.
Royal.
Well, we'll just go right off the bottle.
Yeah, right.
There was some pro wrestling that happened.
There was. On Saturday night, thank God, Saturday night's main event. Saturday
Props to
night.
WWE. Best decision they've made in
Yeah.
years creatively.
Yeah. Go back to Saturdays on Rumble because usually they had the Sunday of the Rumble was always to not compete with the NFL. And this would have been this Sunday.
Well, they would have been
Sunday.
competing with NFL had they done it this Sunday. So shout out to their schedulers.
Yeah, they did it. They pulled it off because I think NFL extending their weeks by 1 week forced WWE's hand to say, screw it, we'll just do it on Saturday. Because let's face it, as much as a lot of people, there's a lot of crossover between if you're a football fan, a lot of them will be like, no, I don't like that wrestling crap, but they used to. And you need to win these guys back.
And it's sports, and you might watch it if football's not on.
Yeah, and it's sports entertainment.
Right.
But, well, overall, what did you think of the show?
I thought overall it was a pretty subpar premium live event. Overall, I think there was like some ups and downs, and there was some peaks where it's like, oh, this is kind of cool, but then some of the lows were just like, boo, and it just sort of broke the curve. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like the lows were there. Thumbs in the middle for me. The two things that I was surprisingly okay with, well, not surprisingly, there's no surprise. I was okay with the winners of both Rumble matches. don't like the way they did it and the way they got to it. But spoiler alert, Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, one of their respective genders Royal Rumble. And I was happy with both of those. Because I like to think back, when you look back at the record book, what's going to make the most sense looking at it? Like, okay, I can see them winning. Or, oh, yeah, I'm not surprised they won one. Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar, absolutely. That was Brock only won the Royal Rumble once, and Ronda's never even been in the Royal Rumble. Both are former Ultimate Fighting Champion, heavyweight UFC champions, WWE champions. So I was okay with it. The winners. The women's Rumble was way better and should have been the main event over the men's Rumble.
Absolutely, I agree.
Brock was not a surprise, even though he was coming in at 30, and he was one of the guys not announced, but they like to just keep that in their pocket. They're not going to announce it. But I was not surprised that he came out, but I was okay with him winning. It makes sense, but Vince is just going to keep leaning heavily on Brock. But we'll just go through each match really quick, but that was our quick synopsis of it. First match was Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins. This was a really hot match. Everybody loved the match, but the finish was a DQ finish, and people did not dig that. I was not happy with the finish.
Yeah, DQ finish did not. Yeah, especially for the curtain jerk, you know.
No, yeah, exactly. And they started off hot. I mean, Seth Rollins, it was great. He came out to the Shield music, and he came out with the Shield gear and the Shield type entrance to just really throw back that, yeah, we used to be in there, where even Pat McAfee was just like, it brings back remembering when it was Mox and Seth and Roman, and he called him Mox.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, so that was cool. So it felt like, whoa, this is the closest you're getting to the Forbidden Door.
And I feel like, obviously, the finish is to protect Roman and Seth or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But I thought the fact that he came out in the Shield gear was enough to protect him either way it went.
Yeah.
Because that's such a mind job, right? And I'm just like, I was all over the place because of that. They could even make that an angle where he's tormented by the team that broke up or something like that.
He should have been.
I mean?
Yeah, no, that was great. Man, you should have booked it, because that's exactly what should have happened. He should have been tormented because these guys were brothers in arms, right?
Yeah.
They were blood brothers, and he should have been a little bit more. Because I didn't, to be honest, full disclosure, I don't know who the babyface and who the heel was. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Roman's still the heel, but Seth is also a heel, but kind of not.
WWE being too cool for school, and we don't have baby faces and heels here, brother. And
what is Seth's angle? What is his gimmick right now?
Now he's just Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah,
and he dresses in funny suits.
Is he David S. Pumpkins?
Yeah, I don't know, but he has the same David S. Pumpkins suit. He doesn't just need. I don't think he needs any of it, but he's definitely one of their top guys, and he feels like a top guy when you see him.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely does. He's up there.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're trying to do, but yeah, I'm sorry, Bruce and Vince. Listen, you need baby faces and heels. It's freaking basic 101. Don't say the fans are going to choose, because the fans aren't going to choose. They're not going to choose. And they're just going to be confused, and then they're going to go get nachos. And you're not making a piece of those nachos, brother.
Basic storytelling, guys.
Yeah, that's all it is.
There's a protagonist, there's an antagonist, there's a conflict, and we have a resolution. Boom. Read your. Somebody go to their desks and just hand out copies of that book, Socrates Poetics.
Can you just send them a snippet of that? Because it's basic. I don't care. Again.
All right, clip this out later when the show posts.
Because it's just like, oh, fine. You don't have to be like, again, Stone Cold Steve Austin changed everything, and he was the baby face who did bad guy type things, and the people were okay with it. But it was still clear that he was the baby face. It's just not clear anymore, and it doesn't make sense. You're always going to have the cool heels that people cheer for. And then you're going to have people like Jericho, and he's like, I don't want to be the cool here. When I'm a heel, I'm going to be a heel, and you're going to boo me. And that's what MJF does. I don't care. I'm going to tell you, fuck you on Twitter. I'm going to say it because I don't want you to ever cheer for me. I don't want you to buy my merch. And then he does real heel stuff. And they just don't do that. And it's just like, and it causes conflict for the audience. If you're not clear on who the babyface in here, how can you imagine, what do you think the audience is feeling?
It's almost as if WWE, they were operating outside of their comfort zone a little bit, because I think that's in their nature to say, no, we tell you what you like. And I think they've seen the evolution of the Russellverse, and people are deciding what they like that exists out there on just YouTube or whatever. And now they're like, oh, okay, you tell us what you like.
Yeah.
But they're doing it incorrectly.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, we'll do nothing. How about that? What if nothing? What if nothing? How about that as a storyline? It's a fucking Seinfeld booking angle.
It doesn't make any sense. I think Mike, what's up? David S. Pumpkin close and Joaquin Phoenix Joker dance and laughing. That would be great. Just let him do that and start him off as a heel. And then if the crowd starts cheering, then he becomes the babyface. But
make him the Joker. What a great idea. Seth Rollins as the Joker.
Yeah, make him just like, and if they had him as like tormented, that like the Shields, because they even did the chair spot, like when he hit Roman with that chair when the Shield broke up. That was such a magical moment. And Mox was like, oh, what the hell just happened? That was such a big deal. Like, I love the idea of this, just like, wait a minute, I have to go to war with my brother right now.
Civil War, man.
Yeah, so
brother against brother.
It's a great idea to have him tormented from that. Anyway, but it was still a great match. We were okay with the match. It was just a little bit of a wonky finish.
Again, a high and a low. It's just like, okay, so then you end up flatline.
Yeah.
It's like nothing.
It was just like, okay, how about nothing?
Yeah. How about nothing?
How about nothing?
You wanted something? How about nothing instead?
Meet me in the middle. Okay, middle of nothing is
you can
never,
have all
right?
the nothing you want, but not something.
Oh, man. What about next up was the women's Royal Rumble match. I was very happy with this match.
This was what the Royal Rumble was supposed to be. This is what we tuned in to see.
This is what every Rumble feels like, and every men's Rumble in the past feels. The women killed it. It was great. It was really good. They started off having Sasha as number one. She's a great number one, because then you're like, oh my God, she's basically the Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio. She's going to get a really low number, and she's going to go a long way. And you knew she was going to go a long way. And I thought that was great. And then have her going against Melina. I wouldn't have had Melina come in second, but Melina got a nice pop.
Yeah, definitely. We had surprise entrances here. We had, unexpected things. This was great. This is what you tune in to the Royal Rumble for. This is what you pay your $50 for.
That's what, yeah.
It was fun all the way through. I dug it. Like, who else we got after?
Yeah, so we got number 4. We got Kelly Kelly. It's good. And people even remember Kelly Kelly, even though I feel like that was much later on after. That was when the ECW rebranded, and she was like on the Sci-Fi. But she's been around enough that people saw her and they got it. And they popped for all the legends. And
shout out to Kelly Kelly for the way she went out. That bump she took on the way out, she just pancaked right on her face.
I know,
she hasn't wrestled in like 10 years.
Yeah, I agree that all the legends, all these female legends that came in, like nobody was slacking. They were taking some big bumps, and everything. Here's the most important thing in pro wrestling, and we know this, Mike. You know this, right? Everything. There's no wasted movement. Everybody, even the little things got to mean something. Sean will tell you that. Make everything mean something. Even if you're just throwing a punch, make it mean something. And that's why the women's match was so much better than the men's Royal Rumble, because everything meant something. When Queen Selena came out, it meant something. Bianca Belair, last year's winner, it meant something. Man, I popped so big when Ivory came out, but she came out in her RTC, right to censor. I mean, what a throwback. What a gift to anybody who's been a fan, like you're a fan of your whole life, to have her come out in her right to censor. And she's like, I knew this is how society would turn out. Look at all you girls, and I tried to warn you back then, and it's like that now. And when she got scoop slammed, and she kept the mic, and she got slammed over the top rope with the mic and was still cutting a promo as she got eliminated. That was great.
Great. And what
that
about
was so good?
What about Mickie James coming in with the Impact belt?
Mickie James crossing the forbidden door, and I guess shout out to whoever's running WWE Twitter because they acknowledged it. It's like how look who just crossed the door. They were basically hinting to the forbidden door, and she came out with the Impact belt, and they put the on her lower third. It was labeled as the Impact champ. That was history.
Yeah, that's good. Wow.
I mean, we've had other I think we had ECW people kind of representing in there, but I don't know. Has there ever been another brand outside of the WWE's three represented in the Royal Rumble?
I can't think of a time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, did they ever have ECW? But nobody ever came out with an ECW belt.
Yeah, no, not with a belt that I know of. No, I think that was a big deal. So, I guess maybe they threw her a bone for sending her stuff back in a hefty bag. So because obviously she's a big part of I think the booking committee at Impact. So I was happy to see her come out with the belt.
Solid.
Yeah, I'm trying to dig in there. And then the stuff that they did with Sonya Deville as the WWF. I was always a huge fan. I thought she was due for like a title run before that whole tragedy happened when someone broke into her house and was going to kidnap her when her and Mandy Rose were home alone.
Is this why she was supposed to be? Is this why she stopped wrestling, or was she injured?
Yeah, no, I thought it was because of that. Because after that, remember, she was supposed to have a hair versus hair match, and they changed it to a loser leave town. Then she disappeared, and everyone's like, oh, she must have to go testify against this guy. And then she came back as an official. And this is the first time we ever seen her, in this section. I think she had a match last week that she was actually going to wrestle. But she's legit. She's legit. I mean, she was on Tough Enough, but I mean, she's an MMA fighter. She's no different than, Queen of Spades or like Ronda Rousey, right? Like she has an air of legitimacy. I liked them as Fire and Desire with Mandy Rose. I was like, give them the tag belt. But then when they broke them up, remember how vicious she got on Mandy Rose? Like those shots were so stiff.
No, I don't remember that.
It was a great, like when she turned heel.
When about was that happening?
It was around the SummerSlam, probably not last SummerSlam, but the SummerSlam before.
Yeah.
But she was so vicious. Like, it was great. Like, it was a real heel. Like, when she was hitting her on the close-ups, like, she was hitting her. And I was like, wow, she is a great heel. Like, there's no reason that they shouldn't give her the main belt. And somebody recognized it because they was like, we got to keep her on TV as an official. But having her come out there, and I like the idea. I think Jerry Lawler, did it a while ago. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to talk on the commentary team. But I'm abusing my power. I'm not going in until I want to go in. And then she went in when Naomi's old partner, one of the Funkadactyls, came out. Remember, she made a comeback, and she got a nice pop.
Right, yeah.
And then she's like, oh, that's Naomi's friend, so that would bother her if I got rid of her. And then she went and she dumped her quick just to piss off Naomi, and then she came running out. And I was like, wow, that was cool.
And it's funny, this is just a sidebar or whatever, but this is... they've been booking this angle with Sonya Deville and Naomi for a while, and I feel like this is WWE attempting to do a long-term angle.
Trying, yes.
But they're doing it badly. It's just, it doesn't feel right the way they're booking it, but they're trying.
They are trying, but yeah, they just need a little. I mean, it's just small tweaks. It's not big. Here's the thing about them, that what they need is very small. They don't need these huge tweaks. Now, I don't know what the back locker room looks like, so maybe they have a whole writing staff that's, that needs to be purged. But like they're getting closer. They are getting closer because they got the talent. Here it is again. They don't have a problem with talent. The talent, they have some of the best talent in the world. It's not, all the best talent isn't in just AEW. It's in WWE too, but the difference is in AEW, they're allowed to show their talent.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the actual Rumble results here so I can actually see, because we had a lot of cool legends that showed up. So I'm trying to find okay, here it is. So we had Sasha, Melina, Tamina. That sounded like a song. Sasha, Melina, Tamina, Kelly. I'm a fan of Aliyah. You like her? She went like as a Bratz doll, and then she was like a genie. She was the girl in NXT, and they actually gave her a pretty decent run. She went for 22 minutes.
Really? No,
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
She's one of the OG NXT, like black and gold brand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was in there, and she had a good showing. Liv Morgan, Queen Zelina. Liv Morgan's in danger, by the way.
Why did you say that?
Because she was so hot, and they were pushing her, and then they kind of screwed it up. And now, like, I feel like she's flound. You know, they're putting her in the position like, what, we don't know what to do with her. They did the same thing to Bianca Belair. They did the same thing to Becky, and they kind of screwed her up. And they're trying to fix her, so they turned her into big-time Bex. And like, screw it, let's turn her into a heel. That way she gets to heat. But Liv Morgan's in danger. That I think they need to continue to make her a legitimate threat.
There's so many belts and so much talent in WWE, but it seems like they're always booking the same 4 matches over and over.
Yeah, and they got to stop that. They just, like, it doesn't have to be. Because look we got 30 women right here. It's like, why are you not using, like, why is it the same people every week?
Yeah.
I don't get it. But Liv Morgan did have a cool spot that Sarah Logan came back with no knee pads after giving birth. You know, part of 2/3 of the Riot Squad. And that was cool. And then they used the Bella Twins to get heat on them. Kind of ruined that Riot Squad reunion. My only complaint is some of these legends were in, and then they got rid of them really quick. So I don't know if they were just there to hotshot them. Hey, look who's back. Okay, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's okay, though. I don't mind that. I feel that's part of the novelty of the Royal Rumble match. Is you're going to get some of that.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it. I don't mind it. You can't book a great story for everyone, but you can have great moments. And if you do that, I think the match is successful.
I agree. It's all about the moments. And Santino Morello is a perfect example. He was in there for 1 second, and he's there on every Royal Rumble highlight reel, sizzle reel from showing the past Rumbles. Because he broke the record for 1 second. Everyone can think it. I wasn't ready. I mean, it still sticks in my head. So you're right. It's okay to do it. But I feel like it was very clear they were doing it to every single legend. And they should have had one legend. And I guess I shouldn't say that because Lita had a good enough showing where actually she showed up and she's getting a match on the next pay-per-view. But let's go back. So we had, Bianca Belair, Dana Brooks, Michelle McCool, Sonya Deville we talked about. Natalya, I was hoping Natalya, she had a 36-minute run, so she still had a good run. Cameron, that was Naomi's, and that's one that Sonya Deville took advantage of. Then we got Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Ivory we talked about. That was great. I love seeing the Bella Twins back in there. Did you ever think that you'd say that? You missed the Bella Twins?
They're legends.
Yeah, they're legends. But, man, anytime they were in the ring, they felt like stars. And no matter how bad they weren't, and I guess maybe they had a lot more creative control than we realized, but every time they did something, it felt like it meant something. And how awesome was that? The crowd is like, we don't give a damn about kayfabe. We know Bree is married to Brian. Yes, you can have the yes chant. Yes, yes. And then she took the yes, and the whole crowd went for it.
Good moment.
Yeah,
moment.
That was one of those moments that was special. And I feel like it might not make the sizzle reels, even though it should. But like WWE's...
Well, WWE edits the sizzle reel, so,
Yeah, so it might not make
You
it.
do the math.
But you can easily just say, oh, yeah, they still, a lot of good memories with that yes chance with them. And I know they're not going to... Because they own the name Daniel Bryan. They don't... So they can just say Daniel Bryan and not Bryan Danielson, and that'll confuse them, right? Clark Kent, put on those glasses. You're not Superman. Don't worry about it.
Just get another guy in a beard and a flannel.
Yeah, it'll be told. Oh, man, don't fake Razor and fake Diesel. Whew.
Fake Daniel Bryan, why not?
Fake. Then
do a deep fake. WWE can afford deep fakes, right? They got lots of cash.
Oh, they could totally do a deep fake. Actually, because the fake Diesel and fake Razor were actually, if you go back and look, they were really good. And this was in the 90s. That was not tech. That was makeup. And I thought they looked really good.
It's kind of an uncanny valley.
It was a very uncanny or variant. Like we're used to variants now. We know we're universe hopping here.
How about that as an angle? Can WWE do variants as angles? Why not?
Dude, I would buy it. It's just like, it's fine. It's just a Razor Ramon variant, a Daniel Bryan variant.
I would attempt it. Why not? I mean, kayfabe's dead anyway. Why not try it?
Yeah.
What if somebody gets a bunch of plastic surgery and comes back?
Why not? You own the name anyway, because what are you buying the name and just putting him on the shelf?
Like, just do it. Like, you own it. There's no kayfabe anymore. Just lean into it.
No.
So you could do a variant Mox that comes back, and he rejoins the Shield.
Dude, the more you're saying this, the more I'm thinking this is a great idea.
Do something. Can they? Nikki Ash opens up the multiverse somehow.
Oh my God, dude. I think you're onto something here. I think
Do it, WWE.
because here's the difference. It's just like if you do it right and you get the right person doing it, you don't get the channel changing heat. You just get heat. And I know they've had some unsuccessful, like the new Midnight Express did not work. The new Rockers did not work, but they were almost acknowledging it. Where if it was like a heel doing it, and you're like almost in a way trying to pretend it's not a thing. Like if you actually come out as Dean Ambrose, are you going to get the Bo and Luke Duke? What were the fake Dukes of Hazzard? Vance and Coey?
Is that their names? I don't remember.
Yeah, Lance and Coey.
I did always tune out when those episodes were on, so maybe it's not a great idea. But
I didn't know if the Dukes of Hazzard.
I just think we're living in a multiverse kind of thing. Wrestling angles and characters tend to reflect pop culture pretty closely. What's going on? Why not try some sort of multiverse angle? It could work.
I say why not? Just give it a try. You know, you've done a lot of other stupid shit, and just like, okay, then it worked. Let's move on.
Right.
It's worth a shot. Let me just go through these last. So we talked about Ivory. That was great. Mickey James. Alicia Fox. She got a good pop. She really got a good pop. It was a decent pop. And then they did a small little moment for her because remember it was like B Bella. And she had she was part of the team Bella, B Bella, and they eliminated her. They gave a little callback to the time Nikki got rid of Brie. So this time Brie got rid of Nikki. That was cool. And props to them because all these women that are coming back from giving birth and looking great.
Did you mention Summer Rae?
Summer Rae was next on my list. Yeah, I did. I don't know if she looked way different, didn't she?
She looked a little different.
She looked different. I don't know if it was the hair color. I think it would have been cooler and I guess they don't want to do it. She should have came out to the Fandango music, and I think she would have got a bigger pop.
You think so?
Because don't you think of her, like of everything she did, I know they had like a best friends angle, but that was like an NXT. But like as far as the Raw roster, I think of her coming out dancing with Fandango. I think that could have got a good pop, right?
Yeah, I think that would have been good. I don't know. Do folks remember Fandango?
I don't know, man, because right before the Yes Chant, everybody was Fandangoing at WrestleMania, and I think that WWE screwed up that one, so I think that could have worked. Then we had Lita. You know, and I think people were really happy to see her. And then obviously they're still continuing to use her. What do you think of Mighty Molly's return? And I was like, oh man, it totally makes sense because she was the superhero. And somebody, Mike, you were talking about this. Somebody got it right. She was a superhero, and now she's somewhat of a supervillain. And she went after the other superhero, Nikki Ash.
Yep.
Not Nikki Superhero AF, Nikki Ash. I'm kind of glad she's a heel. I don't know. I feel like I want Nikki Ash to create the Legion of Doom or something like that. They have enough women.
Is she still a superhero?
Almost.
All right, solid. No, but I mean, it's like, is that still what she's doing? Is she's a superhero angle? She's still talking about doing good deeds and eat your vegetables and drink your milk?
Yeah, except I don't know if that's, now she's angry at Rhea Ripley, so I don't know if that's the case anymore. But yeah, they can do a lot more with her. And then we had Shotzi, and then Shayna Baszler came out as 30, which I was ready to see Shayna and Ronda face off, right? You had your two UFC, for anybody who watched wrestling and MMA, watched The Ultimate Fighter, you knew that Shayna was on Ronda's team during that show. And then they had the 4 Horsewomen, another drop ball by WWE. They never did the 4 Horsewomen versus 4 Horsewomen. But seeing those two in the ring was a big deal, seeing them in the ring together. And I popped for Ronda. I don't know. I know she's getting a lot of heat because she's saying a lot of stuff, but everybody's getting a lot of heat. Joe Rogan's under fire, so who knew? The world's crazy right now. But either way, I was very happy with Ronda winning the Royal Rumble. I was cool with it. I don't know. Were you cool with it? I was fine with it.
It was about what I expected.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire match itself was entertaining. I had a good time. The ending was satisfactory.
Yeah. And so good that the WrestleMania sign got set on fire.
Yeah. What happened there?
Did you see the pyro when Ronda pointed at the sign? She pointed at, I guess
Was
Ronda.
she pointing that it was on fire? She was pointing to the fact that it was on fire?
I think she's a shoot fighter, and she's so stiff that even her points are stiff. And when she pointed on it, it set on fire.
She did have sort of a harsh, but she was really pointing hard.
Yeah, she pointed hard, and I think it actually set the sign on fire. But I'm excited. I mean, we already had the Ronda versus Charlotte versus Becky main event. I'd like to see a one-on-one match, but I get that again. I don't hate triple threats on the top card like a lot of people, and I don't know if I would necessarily even hate a Charlotte versus Becky versus Ronda again, other than they both have the belts, and you're just tying up the belts on people who don't really need the belts.
Yeah.
Give the belts on someone who kind of like help elevate somebody, because Ronda Rousey can sell out any stadium without the belt.
Yep.
So
And we've seen so many, like, their top tier folks have all fought each other so many times, and it seems like if they took a month or two to do something with Liv Morgan, give her a story, and put her in a match with Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be good.
Oh, yeah, it would be great. Again, they have shoot fighters. They got Shayna. They got Sonya Deville. These are MMA fighters that could actually go up against Ronda.
Shayna Baszler, great idea.
Yeah, why not? I mean, but, they got big-time Becky. And look, I don't have a problem with Becky Lynch. My problem is the people who booked her handlers, the people who booked her into becoming a heel, even though she was uber over. And now people are like, I don't know. I feel like they're a little indifferent to her. Like she's not as hot as she used to be when she was
100%.
the man. They kind of screwed that, and that's not on her. She didn't do anything wrong. She executed everything she was told to execute, and then the execution didn't give you the desired results. And anybody who would have read that knew that's not going to work.
That first match back with Bianca Belair just really set her on an awkward path. She could have come back, did the same finish, and been a babyface.
Yeah.
And it would have been okay. It would have because that's what the crowd wanted.
Yeah.
And they booked her as a heel, and it was just that's not what anybody wanted to see.
No.
So now it's like you're not showing me what I want to see, so I'm not really all that interested.
Yeah, and they squashed Bianca, and it kind of killed her momentum. When they could have had a great match. They could have it was already a triple threat. They could have had Liv Morgan. Somebody else could have took the pin. They screwed it up, and Bianca did not benefit, and Becky did not benefit. And now here we are. And like, okay, just become a heel because they're booing anyway. But they're not booing because it's a fun thing to boo Becky. They're booing because probably it's just like this angle sucks. And it's not her, because I like her as big time. I mean, she's colorful. She's good. Really lean into the stuff with Seth. Do all of that. That's fine. But they're just like, you have all this real stuff. Don't try to conjure something up. Just go with what's real. It's right there in front of you.
They're booing because the crowd is saying, boo, no, we like her. Boo.
Yeah, exactly.
Boo, we like her, actually.
Boo what you're doing. But I'll hopefully finish. But she had a match. Her match was next with Doudrop. And Doudrop is another one that I think was misbooked. And they put her with Eva Marie, who, for whatever reason, I liked her. But she gets the wrong heat. She, unfortunately, gets channel-changing heat. She doesn't get the good heat.
Eva Marie, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily know why. I thought, if you watched her like Total Diva stuff, she tried really hard. She was training really hard. She was into wrestling, but I don't know. I think just the perception of her is she's more interested in her modeling and stuff. So, and I think that affected her, the heat that she got. And then
you're a fan though.
Yeah, I have no problems with her.
Yeah,
I think they just again, she was booked. She was used. She wasn't used properly.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think it was because she was on Total Divas, and she was sort of like the odd man out on Total Divas.
Yeah.
She was the girl that the girls didn't like, and that sort of painted her in that light, and she just got stuck.
Yeah, and it stuck too well, because even though we know reality TV show is also worked, but that's considered more real than pro wrestling is real.
Folks don't know reality shows are work.
Yeah, when is that going to come out? Like, shit, I mean, I remember...
How does reality shows have better kayfabe than pro wrestling?
Yeah, that sucks. Why is that? I mean, reality shows have been worked for how long now? I think they started
Always. I think there was only one true reality show, and that was the first one. It was like MTV's The Real World.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
the first one, yeah.
Then after that, it was like, oh well, let's just tell them what to say and what to do now.
Yeah, they started totally producing them. When I was on that, I feel like Mia Wallace. I shot a pilot. When I was on that pilot, when we were shooting for that Redneck Entourage, they fed me every line. They fed me every single line.
Yeah, I mean, I worked on several reality shows back in the day doing production, and it's all story. The story's created by a producer on set.
Yeah.
Telling folks what to say. How does that make you feel? That makes you angry? Yeah, it makes you angry.
Yeah.
So say that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, so that doesn't. But for whatever reason, it's the kayfabe is kept. Oh, you watch that wrestling crap? You know that's fake? I'm going to turn on the Real Sorry, I heard myself. I'm going to turn on the Real Housewives of Washington, D.C. That's real.
I mean, yeah, people think that's real.
Yeah,
game shows are also not real.
Yeah,
game shows are worked.
That's crazy. Like, because when did that start? Because I thought there was like a rule where it had to be real because you were giving away money. But I feel like those are worked now too.
They are giving away money and prizes, but they're casting people to be on the show.
Yeah.
So all those folks on Prices Right now, those are all aspiring actors.
Wow. And I know Survivor did that after season 1 as well, right? Or did they cast actors for season 1 too? Maybe it's like a mix.
I'm not really sure. I don't remember that
because The Real World was like mid to late 90s.
Yeah, just
and
that
Survivor
first
was
Real World with Eric and
Nice.
Julie and they had Kevin.
Kevin, yeah. Shout out to the reunion on Paramount Plus. I actually watched their.
I haven't seen it. I want to see it.
It's pretty
that
good.
movie, that one was super innovative because at the time, no one had really done it yet, and it was like young people in New York trying to have careers.
Right.
That was the premise of the show, and now it's like get hammered and pee in the bathtub or whatever.
Yeah.
Hot tub.
Well, yeah, it used to be. This is the story of 7 strangers picked to live in a loft and find out.
Can you get off the phone?
Yes.
Oh, wait, what did she say?
That was it. That was it. Can you get off the phone? But yeah, we need to find out why reality TV show keeps kayfabe, but wrestling can't. Anyway.
That's a whole podcast.
That is a whole show. But Becky Lynch, what do you think of Dewdrop? You like Dewdrop?
Yeah, I like Dewdrop. She's good. I mean, just like everyone else in WWE, she's booked oddly.
Yeah.
I think she could be way more over if they'd, made her babyface from the start and kept her that way.
Yeah.
Because she got rid of Eva Marie, and folks were like, yeah, that's great. That's great. We like you now. We like you.
And then that was it.
But then they make her a heel for no reason. It's just like,
And I feel like she's a shooter because, right, she's from the UK, so I feel like she's like that. She has that hard hitting style. But I mean, this sounds terrible, but I don't think Vince knows how to book bigger people without somehow making them feel degrading.
Absolutely.
I just don't think he knows how. Like, I think even
he was probably trying to think of like a female version of saying earthquake or something like that.
Yeah, because then if they, that sucks. Because I mean, she can work. I mean, and again, somebody needs to remind him of Dusty Rhodes being one of the greatest of all times. Not everybody's going to look like a bodybuilder to get over and look and be a star.
Yeah, good. You have some variety, yo.
Yeah,
there's lots of folks, lots of flavors
out there. Very, very true. But yeah, Becky Lynch went over on Dewdrop. I don't know. I guess it was close enough where at least it made it feel like a main event for Royal Rumble. But I think Dewdrop is going to get Liv Morganed, and I don't know what else they're going to do with her. But you just can't add another belt, so I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is, but
the answer is WWE. You have plenty of time on your show. Use it to book some angles with all these other folks you have. Just create some storylines. You only need the last hour for your top 4 folks, like the Bobby Lashley's and Brock's and all that stuff. You save the last hour for them. You got 2 hours to do something with these folks.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can think of something.
Yeah.
I really think you can do it.
Yeah, and I don't think he's having to do the thinking anymore because now he has too big of a staff. Before it was him and Pat and Bruce and Jim right near his pool, and they were booking the whole thing. Now they got a bunch of other people doing it, but Vince needs to, I don't know. But Mike talking about, bask in his glory. Keith Lee, talking about the body issues. Remember how big they popped when Keith Lee faced off with Brock Lesnar, and that got wasted.
Yep.
It totally got wasted. And then his non-compete expired, so I expect him to show up somewhere. Although I think the problem that Keith Lee is going to have is the same problem that I feel like Adam sure, Braun Strowman's going to have if he ever shows up like in AEW stuff, because those guys are big. They are big, big guys. And I think the problem is you run the risk of exposing the size of a lot of the guys in AEW. And
How big is Keith Lee?
Oh, that's got to be at least like 6'6", over 3,
He's
right?
6'6"?
Easily, right? He's got to be.
I don't know. Let's see.
He's got to be over 3 bills.
Definitely in weight, yeah.
He's a big guy. And I'm not a sizist at all. I think, I'm not saying that it's not going to work, but it could expose that, like, the whole, like, Adam Cole, like a lot of people, like I saw a meme going around that basically said, what happened to pro wrestling? And it had Adam Cole, face, for what they call beach break with Orange Cassidy, and they were nose to nose at the beach. And they'd had it next to Sid Vicious and Big Van Vader with the Colonel behind them at the beach. And it just was like, what happened to wrestling? It used to be these guys, and now it's like these smaller guys. And I'm sorry, just like there's room for fat guys, big guys, tall guys, little guys in wrestling. They have to have little people. There's room for everybody in wrestling. So I'm not saying it, but they're going to have to be booked properly for it to make sense.
I'm pretty sure Adam Cole was hit with a shrink ray recently.
He feels smaller, right?
He seems maybe he's just leaning down, doing his cardio, trying to drop some baby fat, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, if he's got any bros, like, y'all, he's just like, get with his bro friends, get like a 12-pack and just freaking like lift.
Just house it. I remember when Cody first started, and I remember him like tweeting out something that's just like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to eat another double beef patty, because he was trying to bulk up. And I don't think you have to bulk up. I think you're going to have to be booked properly. And do you think it's wrong in pro wrestling to have weight divisions like you do in other sports?
I don't think it's wrong. I think it's okay if you've got the talent to spread them amongst those divisions, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't have an issue with big guys against small guys.
But for whatever reason, like having the cruiserweight belt or the light heavyweight belt, it was always looked at as like a notch down. And I think who's funny, who was actually fixing that problem on 205 Live?
Who's that?
Was Enzo Amore, the real one. Remember Enzo?
What did he do?
He actually got the cruiserweight belt because they were punishing him by putting him on 205, and then he got the belt over, and then he got the show over, and then they fired him. But he was actually fixing it, because you're like, wow, this guy is entertaining, and he's got the belt. And it didn't matter that it was a belt that you had to be 205 or less.
Keith Lee 6'2", by the way.
Oh, it's 6'2"?
6'2", 340. He went to Texas A&M University. Did you know
I didn't know he was an Aggie. But he's got to be, so even if he doesn't have the height, he definitely has the weight. And I think he would show that,
He's big, but he's not that big. I think. He's definitely bigger than Adam Cole. And AEW has a hard time booking big guys. So
yeah, they do.
It could be. But I think he's got a lot of style. He's kind of cool. He's likable,
Yeah.
He's got a real unique in-ring style.
No, that's the thing. I mean, look how over, like, no matter what you say about Adam Cole's weight, that dude is over. He's still over. Like, people love the boom. They love the Adam Cole baby. Orange Cassidy is still, that could have easily been a gimmick that run its course. It's still way over.
What a weird thing. I can't believe he's still over.
It's still way over. Like, eventually you're going to have to turn heel.
He's got to be the number one cosplay at the live shows.
Yeah. Oh man. I feel like he is somebody, like, he actually has outside of pro wrestling appeal. Like, I feel like he's the kind of stuff that you would see a football player wearing a shirt or doing the lazy thumbs up and stuff. I feel like he has outside of wrestling appeal. So I feel like for him being one of the pillars, he should be one of the pillars. He's
Absolutely.
way over.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, I know we went off on a big guy, little guy stuff, but let's jump back into the Rumble. Because next up, I was actually really excited about this next one. This was one of the ones, if it wasn't for the Rumble, I still would have watched for this match, was Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, which to me, that is like, holy shit, we get UFC versus Bellator. That's huge.
Yep.
I thought that was huge.
But a lot of mainstream appeal there to the
Very
to the
much
non-wrestling
mainstream
fan.
appeals. Like, look, Dana White couldn't do this, but WWE is going to give you this. And it was a good match. It was a really good match. It was cool to see them in the ring. They're both big dudes. You knew it was going to be stiff. But were you surprised that Brock did the honors? I mean, it was a run-in, and we're going to get into this. It looks like we're going to get Roman versus Brock again. Do we really want to see it again? But I think we're going to get it again, unfortunately. I hope they don't close with that show, that match, if that's really WrestleMania, or they find a way to turn in triple threat. But, I mean, dude, it was WrestleMania 31 when we got Brock versus Roman the first time. And what is this, 38? I mean, that's a lot of years ago, man.
So was that also in Dallas?
No, we got in Dallas. We got Roman versus Triple H.
Oh, right.
Remember, everybody was leaving. People just like, screw it.
That's a long way to the car.
Yeah, it was. But I don't know. It was what was cool. I didn't like that they're setting up for that, but I did like. I love what they're doing with Roman and Brock as far as like the Paul Heyman stuff, because it's just like my tribal chief. No, I'm with Brock. No, I'm with that. That I can get behind. But I just don't know if I want to see them in the main event at WrestleMania, unless they're going to do it as like a cage match or something. You know, because look, we've had WrestleMania repeats again, right? We've had Rock versus Austin was like 3 times, right?
Yeah.
We got Hogan. Did Hogan have any rematches? I guess
WrestleMania rematches?
Savage won their title at 4, and then Hogan won it back at 5. I don't know, but they just feel like they have to do something different. It just feels like Roman versus Brock again. Like, really? I know, except now he's the tribal chief and Brock's the rhinestone cowboy. They're both great, but give them other people. I wish they would have did something different to set it up where you're going to get Bobby versus Brock at WrestleMania and like have that as a rematch, because I would have thought that was a WrestleMania rematch the first time. UFC versus Bellator. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
they're doing. I heard this analogy. Somebody on YouTube was making this analogy, and I think it's very accurate. What WWE is doing, network TV. They're trying to do a show that would be on NBC or Fox or one of those big channels, right? They're not trying to do a cable TV show, and I think that it's all about big names, big bodies, big players, or whatever. And most folks that would watch wrestling on NBC are a casual viewer. Not most, but I think a great deal, you know? And I think they're almost sort of tailoring their show now to the casual viewer. And if you're watching it every week, it seems very repetitive. But if you tuned in, like, if I just tuned into Royal Rumble or something like that, and after not watching WWE in a few months or something like that, I'd be entertained. It'd be pretty good. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, these big guys, it's great. There's the stories are there, and it's like, okay, this is good enough for me. But if I've watched every Raw and SmackDown for 6 months and this is the payoff, it's kind of like, eh.
Yeah, it doesn't.
They're
feel
doing
like,
the Big Bang Theory.
It is, yeah, and that's unfortunate because they were always the something different, and that's what their appeal was, to not be like everybody else, to not do the norm. But they're getting paid, so they're running with it. Mike thinks that Brock is going to win the Elimination Chamber, and then it's going to become belt versus belt. Okay, here's what I think on that. Okay, if they do that, the only way I'm going to get on board is get rid of that Universal title. Get rid of it. I'm tired of it. I don't want it anymore.
Unify them.
Unify them and be done with it. The first time they did the brand split, ironically, Brock was the champion. The champion's advantage was for the tag champs and the heavyweight champ that you can go to any show. Just like like Ric Flair back in the day. I'm the NWA champ. I might show up in World Class. I might show up in Florida. I might show up in, Mid-Atlantic. I might show up on Raw. I might show up NXT. Do that. That's all you got to do. Make the main belt for each show. Bring back the Intercontinental title, because you got it on Shinsuke, which is basically you buried it because you're burying him. And then you got the U.S. belt. Make those the main belts for that show, but the heavyweight and the tag belts can go anywhere. Get rid of the double tags and get rid of the heavyweights. I can almost get behind leaving the tag belts, but they got to get rid of that Universal belt. I hate it. I've always hated it.
Also, champion of the universe. Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, that's like that's what a child would come up with. I'm champion of the universe, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. When you're trying to when you're playing one-upsmanship.
Yeah.
I'm the champion of the world. Well, really, I'm the champion of the universe.
Exactly.
Just get rid of that. But if it is that, I hope so. Then I'm okay. Then just unify the belts and be done with it. But you got Bobby. And so Bobby's got the one belt, and Roman's got the other belt, the Universal belt. And I don't know, because I don't know what other players that they really have for these belts anyway. So if you make it a unification belt to get rid of the belt, I'll celebrate it.
Yeah, that'll work.
But so Bobby did go over. But one more thing on that. I feel like after seeing Cowboy Brock on Raw, and he came out and he was really complimentary for Bobby, and then it hit me. It's just like, oh, he's doing the honors for him. That's cool. That's cool. Like he's feeling like he's like you're good. I felt like, wow, he's given Bobby the rub, and he put him over, and he said, I'm not even going to go after you. I thought that I was okay with. I didn't want him to go after Roman, but it was just like, that's cool that he's like. But I'd much rather see Brock versus Bobby over the next 3 pay-per-views and then end it at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But
it's just
WWE
they refuse to create new stars and invest in somebody. It's a bummer. It's a
Oh,
bummer.
yeah. And
there's so many folks.
I don't, we'll get into this in the Royal Rumble. I don't know who tweeted it, but somebody's like, you're having so much trouble creating new stars that a rapper just went through half your roster. And I was just like, oh, man, I guess that is a little telling.
Yeah.
Because that is the new star they created. But we have one more match before we get to that. Was the It couple versus the Grit couple. What'd you think of Miz and Maurice versus? I loved freaking that the Glamazon Beth Phoenix came out in Luna Vachon garb. She had the Luna Vachon hair, and she had the Luna Vachon painted on veins on her face. I thought that was a cool image. And she actually tweeted out, she's like, what's his name? Adam. What's his real name? Adam. What's Edge's real name? His real last name?
I don't know.
I keep wanting to say Richmond, but it's not him. Anyway, they're like, this is going to be our Christmas card this year. And had her, and, he's got the woolly mammoth beard, and he's screaming, and she's dressed like Luna Vachon. It was a really cool entrance. I thought they looked really good. And I don't know, Miz and Maurice, to me, Copeland. That's it. Yes, Copeland. Thanks. I think Miz always delivers. That's the hot take that nobody, like they're almost insulting MJF when they compare him to Miz. It should be cool they compare to Miz, because Miz has been around a long time and still does it at a very high level. And it was actually on a Eli Manning type streak of never getting hurt until Damian Priest landed on his knee in the zombie match. It was not any design, but Miz, he's got that, Miz, when Miz comes out, when he comes over and people hate it, they hate him style, whatever. I've never hated on Miz.
Doesn't count if it's a zombie injury, I think. But I think I'm going to be honest. Miz is fine. I don't know. I didn't really even pay much attention to that match. I got up and made a pizza.
And again, it sucks.
Miz does wrestling that you can have in the background while you make a frozen pizza.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's so good. Whatever you tell him to do, he's going to do it. And they're like, Miz, tonight, you're going to be the cool-off match. Cool. Okay, I'm not going to cool-off match. But to me, again, props to another one. These women in WWE, if you ever wonder if they're not real athletes, they are somehow creating life, giving birth, and still coming out and looking so good. And props to the cameraman, so he had some good Maurice stuff. And then I was like, oh my God. It's just like, but they're like, not only obviously the sex appeal and how they look, but they did a really good job. But like you said, it was meant to be a cool-off match. So you really weren't going to get much beyond that. And that's pretty much what you got.
Shout out to H-E-B Midtown Pizzas.
Oh, yeah. I gotta plug
Best
it.
frozen pizza value.
I wish we had the Between Two Ferns and we can lower down the pizza. All right. And then we get to the lesser of the Rumbles, the men's Rumble. as we know, like we said, we preferred the women's Rumble because it gave us everything that the Rumbles have given us in the past. This one was very lacking in surprises, very lacking in cool entries, cool pops. The only surprise,
It's everything the women's Rumble was not, or
Yeah.
was. It wasn't what the Rumble. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yep, I know. I totally get it. I mean, especially when Vince is just sitting there trying to troll people at this point, because I don't think Austin Theory is, for some reason, they know it's just like, okay, this is Vince's guy. And I think he's become the new, like, he's like smaller Roman Reigns. Oh, they hate him? Keep giving him to him, pal. Yeah, he just don't hate it. But yeah.
Smoke all these cigarettes till you learn not to smoke.
But yeah, but the three surprises that they did have were cool. Again, the biggest star they've created in the past year was Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny came out to a good pop, and he was actually pulling off some good spots. That was the good surprise. The Johnny Knoxville one was better than I thought. I just wished he would have did something a little bit more stunt worthy. But if you read any kind of press that he's doing for Jackass 4, he did a stunt in Jackass 4 that pretty much retired him. Because I thought it would have been cool if you just had like Brock Lesnar come out, pick him up, and like throw him through a table, outside the ring. Like just throw him like Bam Bam Bigelow did to Spike Dudley in ECW. But it was just kind of like a regular elimination. And then the big pop was the Shane O'Mac. That was the big surprise that, he did get this. He got the pop, but you don't know what we're going to do with him. But that was the only surprises we really got.
It was. I mean, it was good. It felt like a surprise. It felt appropriate. And it was in and out. It was all right.
But there was a couple of guys like you made comment of like you didn't even know who they were, and then you're like, why is AEW get all this heat for all these comic gimmicks, and meanwhile you got Mad Cat Moss coming out and saying waka waka waka.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
But there was no, it was sad because then you had Bobby Roode come out and they dropped the ball on Glorious. He was so over, and Dirty Dogs is just not like, I don't even know what the hell that's supposed to be. You got these Dirty Dogs are the two guys that we should have had way over, and they should be mega stars right now, but we screwed that up, so we're going to put them together as a tag team.
I think Vince pulled that out of the suggestion box. What about Dirty Dogs?
Yeah, why not? You know who I'm actually a big mark for is Montez Ford. Like, there's just something about his athleticism, and I feel like those guys and, him and Dawkins, when they come out and they got the solo cups, it feels like it could be special, but I feel like they're not giving them. I feel like they did themselves no favors by booking them in that mini golf tournament that they had with the Vikings when they first got there. Or whatever the hell that was.
I would like to hear you explain that to somebody like from the past. It's like they're talking about wrestling like a few years ago.
Yeah.
There's going to be a mini golf angle with Vikings. Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And do you think this was cursed because this was the first time that Kofi, like, okay, cool, Kofi's going to come out and save the Rumble because he always has a cool spot, and his spot got botched and he got eliminated immediately.
Yeah. Who pushed him?
Kevin Owens pushed him, and it had nothing to do with the push. I think he just jumped so freaking high that there's only so much you can do against gravity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And his feet touched.
And they wanted to leave him in, and they went to the replay. And
No, they wanted to so bad because his feet hit, and then he pulled his feet up, and then they're like, "Oh, sorry, we got to let you go." And then and he even tweeted, "Well, it's better to fly and fall than to never fly at all." Maybe that's what cursed the Rumble. I wish that wouldn't happen because actually he's one of my favorites that I think after all the entertainment that he's given for every Royal Rumble, how loud would that pop be if Kofi went over on a Rumble?
I mean, it would be huge, but would that ever really happen? I don't know.
Well, like, why doesn't it happen? And you proved, like, you gave Otis the Money in the Bank belt, and then he never cashed it in, and then Miz stole it from him. Like, you can totally just do that, right? You can just totally let him do it, and if you're not going to let him get the main belt, because the Elimination Chamber is now the roadblock to the road to WrestleMania. So you can totally like, oh, I won the Royal Rumble, but I lost the chamber, so I lost my spot. There's so much you can do with it. All they have to do is have somebody challenge Kofi for the spot. Okay, you won the Rumble, fine, but I challenge you, and if I win, I get your Royal Rumble spot. Cool. and then your WrestleMania spot, and then he loses. But he still won the Rumble and got that major pop.
Yeah.
But Vince loves to screw the New Day. That's facts. And Mike suspects that Danhausen cursed the Royal Rumble. That's evil shit right there.
Very nice. Very
He got a nice pop.
I love the way they introduced him. He just came out holding onto that chair.
Yeah, randomly.
That was great. What a great way to just bring him into the universe.
Yeah, he's
a very Pee Wee Herman entrance.
Yeah, it was very Pee Wee Herman. He's another one that can get that. He might be able to get that cross appeal, right? Like he's not a big guy, but obviously he gets over. Why does Jericho get it? Very nice, very nice, very rumble. But yeah, why does Jericho get it? Jericho, partners up and he goes with these guys because he sees the creativity. He sees the same thing that bookers like Jim Cornette see and Paul Heyman see. Because as much as Jim Cornette hates on AEW, and he does, but he also calls out the stuff that he likes. He has a way to show people's strength and hide the weaknesses. No, and I think Paul Heyman's the number one at that. Like no one better. If you watch ECW, he found a way to get everybody over by hiding their weaknesses and finding one strength and then just driving that into the ground. So I don't know. I just think there's tons of ways that they can get away with. I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm just going to do a Danhausen because I lost where I'm going.
Love that Danhausen.
Yeah, JJ didn't know about Danhausen until the Jericho pop. I saw him. He got over big on the Jericho cruise. I think that's when he finally got
I saw that. I saw the tweets about that.
That Main Street appeal. And what did he say? Something about, there's some blasts some brawls at the beach happening, and he took a picture of the beach. So he even teased it out. But
I feel like he got over by breaking his leg too.
Oh, really?
Because he was just tweeting about when he broke his leg and he got injured.
Oh, I don't know. Like I haven't really kept up with his.
He's like one of the first Twitter wrestlers.
He might have been. Yeah, I feel like he definitely created his own niche for sure. But I'm excited to see what they do with him. I'm it's new blood. Like they got a very crowded roster. And he's huge on YouTube. He has a good YouTube channel.
Here's the thing about AEW. They're bad at booking big guys, but they're good at booking comedy wrestlers.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Wow, how do they do that? Why is that a thing?
I don't know. Maybe it's the new school. It's like the Cornette school of thought versus the Tony Khan school of thought.
Yeah, I don't know. You could still.
I blame Andy Sandberg. It was all those Andy Sandberg shorts that sort of like turned comedy.
What Sandberg and on his SNL ones?
Yeah, they used to do those shorts.
They just called them shorts, like Dick in the Box and
what was the name of their group?
Lonely Island.
Lonely Island. It's like Lonely Island. I think is a big influence on wrestling because I think the way they sort of made comedy, the way they sort of like shifted the comedic tone of like internet videos. I think is a big thing.
I think that did. You might be right. They did change that up, but we'll see. I don't think WWE. Well, they do bad comedy, which means you shouldn't do comedy at all. At least AEW, you do get a good pop out of their comedy because wrestling does have a quirky comedy element to it that you have to suspend your belief anyway. So if you do it right, it works well. But man, when it doesn't work, it just crash and burns. I mean, we're talking the ding dongs on WCW Saturday night. Like, oh my God, please make it stop.
They do comedy like a giant bicycle with a giant front tire kind of comedy. I don't know if that analogy makes sense, but that's kind of their style of comedy.
No, I think you're right. It does. It really does make sense. I think I'm sold. I think Vince loves them. But I think I'm getting on board with them, and I think they kind of blew it on here. Was Omos and the Rumble? I was like, oh, this is a big dude, and he's pretty athletic too. So I was like, oh wow, how the hell are they gonna get this guy out? And he started like eliminating people, and I'm like, oh okay, this is how they're going to. He's gonna break the record, or at least tie the record. Like how the hell are they gonna get him out? And then they had Chad Gable come out. And I think this was the best part of that angle. He became the coach, right? Because he coaches Alpha Academy. He's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And he started coaching people to get him out, and that's how they got him out. I think they should have just did that a little bit later in the match and let Omos stay that monster, because that's what got Kane over. One of the things that got Kane over, but that definitely got Big Daddy Cool Diesel over, was just like these Rumble appearances, and they could have did that with Omos, but they kind of blew that. And they still could have did the same thing later on, and especially having AJ be the one to nudge him over. But what else was there anything else that stood out to you? Well, we talked about Bad Bunny, Johnny Knoxville, the Kofi botch.
No, I mean, none. Like you said, Bad Bunny looked better than half of the other entrances, and Johnny Knoxville.
He's the biggest star they've created in a year.
Yeah,
Big Bunny.
There you go.
Like his stuff at WrestleMania was very memorable and it was really good.
Johnny Knoxville came out and did Johnny Knoxville. I don't know that this helps the legitimacy of the Royal Rumble match by throwing Johnny Knoxville in there, but sure, Jackass 5, we'll go see it.
Yeah, it's coming out. What is Mike's? Mike said Shane booking the Rumble around himself and being let go this morning because of the response is funny. Did he get let go?
I believe he did. I think he did.
Shane got future endeavored?
I think so, unless it's an angle.
What? Oh my God, I did not
See,
know
I'll pull
that.
it up.
Yeah, and then the WrestleMania sign on fire was I guess it was kind of prophetic, very telling. I did not hear about Shane getting future endeavored. There's really nothing more else to talk about. I mean, Brock came out to win, and no surprise. And again, what we said in the beginning of the show, I'm happy with Brock winning. I have no problem. Brock brings legitimacy.
Here's the New York Post. I don't know if you trust them, but yeah, sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the Post is a WWE heel, right, for WWE?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Was there I didn't know that there was big backlash on the. I mean, we knew the women's match was better than the men's match.
Sports Illustrated also says that's the deal.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, frustration coming out of the Royal Rumble. Yeah, he's gone.
You know what? Because we said that this has been a heel pay-per-view, a heel super show for how many years, and this is the one that they cut Shane on. That doesn't make it. That's dumb. But how many times have we said that's? I wouldn't. I mean, did Shane book the Rumble?
I have no idea.
I mean, look, they didn't botch the finish. Oh, apparently Brock booked the end of the match and is completely in control of this match created leading to the Roman at Mania. Oh, that's kind of a bummer, man. I did not know that. I was, because there was a little part of me that was a little excited because that Brock and Riddle have like real life heat. Because before Riddle got there, he's like, I want to retire Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Right.
So when he grabbed him, and I was like, oh, shit. And he was in a very, position that Brock could have did anything for him. So I was really, really looking at the way he threw him over the top. But Brock took care of him. But I wonder if there was a little part of him because it's still Brock. Yeah. Brock brings legitimacy. I don't really disagree. I disagree with that. I don't know. I guess I was okay with Brock going over. They just needed to book a few more memorable spots. But the match itself, the show itself, the women's one was way better.
I think it pisses people off because he doesn't need to win the Rumble to get a rematch or to,
Well, yeah, that was the waste, right? Because he lost it. It's like they all of a sudden got amnesia on the champion gets an automatic rematch. Like, when did that go away? When did that rule stop? That was always if the champion loses, you get an automatic rematch. And I believe it used to say that it's up to a year or whatever. It doesn't even matter. You get an automatic rematch. He can say, I'm coming back for my belt. He didn't need to win the Rumble. There's a lot of people that could have benefited from that Rumble. I think Omos is probably not ready for a WrestleMania run yet, but he's definitely would have been a good one to at least tease a win. You got this Kofi. Like I said, we could have did the surprise. I don't know about Rick Boogs. I was a little nervous that it was going to be Randy Orton because he won, because they were in St. Louis and he was in his hometown, and then he would have tied Stone Cold for the most wins. But obviously, there's a bunch of people. But AJ Styles, he's never won a Rumble, and he could have easily pulled that off and put him back in the mix.
Literally could have been anybody else.
Yeah,
I think I don't know. Brock coming in at 30 and then just winning just sort of negates the whole hour you just wasted. Oh, they were all dead the whole time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like there was no chance anybody else was going to win because Brock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get
don't. I
that.
just don't think it was necessary. They could have done anything. Just even a rando, anybody, create a new storyline, build somebody up to WrestleMania from there. Now it's just kind of like, okay,
Well, Brock just lost his belt, so he has an automatic rematch clause.
right. And it was
just lost his belt.
it was not clean.
Yeah. And on top of that, you're right.
So it's
not
just
clean.
like, why do you need him to win the Rumble to get it back?
Man, I don't know. That was, it was screwy. Again, I'm okay with Brock as the talent, as the winner, but I totally see storyline. They could have went in 10 different directions and made more sense. I don't know how much heat it would have got if Shane O'Mac would have won the belt. I mean, won the Rumble. He's never won a Rumble. Vince won a Rumble.
I think that would have been a lot of heat.
Vince won a Rumble.
Yeah, he's the chairman.
But Vince was not channel changing heat at the time. Vince is becoming to the point where he's getting channel changing heat, like with the whole hating the fans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's just. I mean, he's pretty.
You're not a nice person anymore, Vince. What happened to you? Not that he's ever. I don't know. He was nice to me, but
He's a little weird on TV.
yeah, he's gotten really weird.
He's just old. He's an old guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to like shame him for being old, but
Yeah.
he's maybe too old to be on TV.
Yeah, maybe that is it. That might be it.
I'll never shame an old person.
No, we just talked an hour about the Rumble, didn't we?
Are we done with it?
That was it. That was the last match. I don't know if there's. I still gave it a thumbs in the middle because that to me the women's Rumble saved the show. The women's Rumble saved the show.
Kept it right at an even 0.
Yeah, it brought us right up to it. But there's a lot of. But it sucks because we missed Crazy Train. We missed the MP Mission Pro show for that, but it's fine. I guess we're Lucy. Vince is Lucy with the football, and we're Charlie Brown. We're going to keep trying to kick that field goal because we love it. And especially Royal Rumble. It'd be really tough for me to not tune into a Mania or a Rumble. There's a lot of them I can skip, but those two are really hard to skip.
Yeah, Rumble especially for me. That's my favorite pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have wanted necessarily skipped Elimination Chamber, but I have a streak of skipping all the shows that take place in Saudi Arabia, and I don't know if I want to break that streak.
Oh, they're doing Chamber in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah, the Prince, books his own show. He literally, remember, we used to have to buy LJN figures to play with wrestlers. The Prince actually buys the guys.
Yeah, and instead of like posing your wrestlers, he tells them to do stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because they got Lita. Lita's coming out of retirement, right? She has a match coming up she's going to be wrestling there.
Hey, man, work is work.
Yeah, they got to pay really well. They got Shawn out of retirement. That Prince probably pays really well, but we'll see.
So you want to do a quick be right back?
Yeah, let's do a quick be right back.
All right,
Let's
so we'll be
quick
right back in
BRB.
just a second, and we'll talk about Book of Boba Fett.
Boba. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ernie, Snuffleupagus, Super Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, the cunts from Riverdale. Sorry.
The cunts from Riverdale.
Yeah, that was weird. So apparently that was improv. John Cena on Peacemaker naming 80 people on the spot that could have been framed instead of his father.
I think James Gunn was probably feeding him lines off screen. Though,
You think
too.
he had to?
Man, at least maybe like topics. Like, now do Nintendo.
It was so good, man. So good. We're not going to talk about that today, but yeah, hats off. If you haven't started watching Peacemaker, what are you doing? Watch. Start immediately. Immediately. We're just, again, we talked about this. We went into Chucky, then we went into Cobra Kai, and then we went into Peacemaker, and then we went into Book of Boba Fett was kind of like trailing back a little bit, and all of a sudden last week and then last night, it just pretty much punched us in the mouth.
Did we just get swerved? I feel like we just got swerved.
We did.
We got half a season of the Boba Fett show, and it was fine. Better than a lot of Star Wars that's out there. And then all of a sudden, The Mandalorian is just back, and it's the best Mandalorian so far.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. And then everybody's praising.
We didn't talk about last week's episode because you hadn't seen it when we were on, right?
Oh yeah, no. And I watched it immediately after and was just blown away that it was just basically that could have been season 3, episode 1. And which
It's basically what it is.
Yeah.
That is what it is.
Season 3, episode 1. So I don't know if they're like, did they save this, or do you think no, they couldn't have, because they're keeping the continuity of the Boba Fett show. You don't think it was a pivot, right?
Well, real quick, we need to be clear with everyone that this is a spoiler review.
Spoiler review. Spoiler review. Sorry if you already did not see the spoiler warning there.
I told you, my theory is that my theory is this. Robert Rodriguez was hired for this job for a reason. He is the guy who can just come up with stuff fast, on the fly, shoot it against a green screen, and turn it into a hit movie. He's done that.
He does.
That's his gimmick. That's what he's been doing. So I feel like the big guns at Disney decided we can do Mandalorian, but we can only do like 3 episodes and turn them around in a year. So can we get Robert to shoot like a Book of Boba Fett show while we're doing this at the same time, just like behind the set with the stuff that's left over?
Dude, you might be right. It sounds exactly what happened. It really does sound exactly what happened, because I think you just pretty much summed it up.
And then we get to these episodes, and it's like,
these 2 episodes have been unreal. And again, we talked about the mean motor scooters. They didn't really work. Other than that, and even after that, when it kind of got explained, like, well, right now we're in the dingy part of the universe because George Lucas shot in the 70s, but it was after the Empire fell, so everything was dirty, looked older and stuff, but we're not going back to, back to the prequels when everything was a little bit more civilized and shinier, and that's what it was supposed to be, a shout out to the sequel. So we weren't down with the motor scooters, but the show itself I've never had any heat with. But then these 2 next, like, how can you be a Star Wars fan and not, like, I don't know about you, I was laughing, I was crying, I was cheering, I was scared.
we're talking about episode 6, right?
Yeah, like last week it was just like solid, top to bottom. This is the Mandalorian. Love to see it. You got the lore of the Darksaber. Everything was great, solid. But this week I thought would have been the finale. This wasn't the finale? You mean you're going to do more than what you do here? Let's give another explosion for the spoilers, because these are dangerous spoilers, and there was a bunch. I mean, you freaking got R2-D2 in scene 2.
That was enough, right? R2-D2.
That's all you would have to do.
You saw the little radar thing pop up, and you're like, "Oh, it's R2." And it's like, "Oh, awesome, R2."
Yeah, and I was already happy that you got Cobb Vanth facing off with some pikes.
That was cool.
And then it's just like it made it feel like very Old West, and then and then you actually see what everybody's fighting for.
Timothy Olyphant is like the modern day TV cowboy.
Yeah, he's great.
And he's done it in a way. Did you watch Justified?
No, he was great in that. That's why he got booked in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because of Justified.
Justified is great. It's like very much a Western format, but in a modern setting.
Okay.
He's the sheriff. I mean,
I remember it. Yeah,
he's not actually a sheriff, but in sort of like the style of the show, he's the sheriff. And at the end of every show, he kills the bad guy.
Oh, really? Then
he kills a lot of people in that show.
He's great. You know, when I saw him, I was happy with, I was even happy to get that. To see that, I was like, okay, cool. They're going to do that. And I was like, okay, they're doing the Inglourious Bastards. They're doing the Dirty Dozen. They're getting the band. So they got Black Krishanson. They had Mandalorian. Now they're going to get Cobb Vanth. I was like, cool. They're getting all these guys. And that's going to be Boba Fett's gang that he's going to fight the Pikes with. And then we got to see the drug. It's like it's a mix between cocaine and glitter, right? That's the spice.
Yep.
But then to see Mandalorian go to the other planet, and Star Wars Theory was talking about this. Like, I think we're going to see Luke training Grogu next week, and I was like, wow, that's really like you're reaching for the stars, pal. I was like, I'd love to see it too. I don't think we're going to get that. Like, I thought it was going to be one Mandalorian episode, and we're back to Boba Fett. But guess what? That's exactly what we got. Dude, Luke freaking Skywalker.
This was like a huge moment in like movie history that I think we saw because you're seeing now something new, a deep fake as a character performance, right?
A better deep fake than when we saw him last season.
Yeah, they got that guy off the internet, Shamook.
Really?
They got a guy who used to do deep fakes on his YouTube page, got booked by Disney to work on that show, and they gave him, like he did, I believe he did a YouTube video where he took the Luke Skywalker clip from the previous year and did his own version, and it looked way cleaner. So Disney hired him.
So they hired him? Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so good. I had no idea because, you couldn't, like his face, like you can tell, look, just a tiny different, but like he was supposed to be 5 years older than when we saw him in Return of the Jedi. So I was like, I was okay with it. But we didn't even get to that. Like, we didn't even get to the parts that like, there were spoilers before that, too. No one's going to care about this, but we saw ant droids building the Jedi Temple that we saw destroyed in Force Awakens. I didn't think we were going to see that. We don't even know what planet this is. And then when we get to that, R2 powers down, he basically tells Mandalorian, have a seat. And then freaking Ahsoka shows up.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know shit.
It was a lot. It was a lot going on in this
And that's
episode.
like a big deal because to me, one of the biggest things you wanted to see, because I was a huge fan. I watched every single episode of the Clone Wars. I watched every single episode of Rebels. So I marked out when she showed up in live action. And you knew Dave Filoni was going to bring her in. But it was going to be a big deal. I was like, wow, how cool it would be to see Ahsoka in the same scene with Luke Skywalker and her asking about his father now that we know they're together. So when she popped up, I was like, wait a minute, she already knows Luke? It's like,
and let's be clear to what's going on in this scene. You cannot undersell the historic significance of what's going on here. You have Rosario Dawson, 2022 Rosario Dawson, acting in a scene with 1983 Mark Hamill. And it works, completely works.
Yeah, and it totally worked. And I had no issues with it, except like you said, it was like, okay, fine. You didn't like our motor scooters? I'm going to hit you in the face with a fire hose. Because then she started talking. It's like, you're here to see Grogu. And I'm like, oh, wow, we're going to see Grogu. And then there he was. And then I popped. And I was like, oh, my God, there he is. And then he's like talking to him. And then he's like, oh, you want to remember? And then he did the thing. He did the Jedi gimmick where he's trying to clear his memory. We saw Order 66 getting executed, and we saw Grogu at the freaking... It was
violent. Looked good.
At the temple. And I was like, what? That's what I love, and I think that's why people are loving this, because Disney... And here's another take. Here, you heard it here first. J.J. Abrams, this is officially a citizen's arrest. I want you brought up on official charges. I'm going to call the DA because you did it wrong. You did it wrong. And if you want to blame somebody else, then fine. We're going to arrest you. And then you're just like in the cops, you're going to have to give us a bigger name because this is what everybody wanted all along. And to the point where Dave Filoni is not only giving everybody what they wanted all along, he's even giving them the stuff. It's like, yeah, JJ did this too. Here's the temple. He's making that. He might be what Disney needs to save that sequel trilogy. Because now he's going to make that mean something.
Yeah.
So, but then, so having Grogu seeing Order 66, having Luke, did you cry when he was running with Grogu on his back and that he references just like, this used to belong to someone, your Master Yoda, your size. He talked, that's how he referenced, that's how he talked. He talked in riddles. Like, man, he was like us for a second, like giving Grogu was just like, this is what everybody loves.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to cry. I couldn't feel it. I was in shock as what was going on screen.
Yeah,
it was mind blowing what was going on. Mm-hmm. Every scene, you're howling. It's just like, you're just making. You know what I'm talking when you react to some TV and you're not even sure what to say.
Yeah, no, that literally was that. And it was just like blow, like bam, bam, just getting hits, and then. We saw the training, even the training remote, and that was a cool callback. And using the Force with the frogs, and now Luke is the one that shows you how to use it. And yeah, it was beautiful, man. And just like, and then we finally was just like, we wanted Mandalorian to see, we wanted Din Djarin to see Grogu, but knowing that, obviously Ahsoka's not a heel. But she's going to try to, like, you sure you want him to see you? That was heart-wrenching to me. Because you're like, is this what's best for him? Like, you sure you want to do that? And he's like, I just want to give him this chainmail. It's just like, wow, that was just so good. It was so good.
And it's like little baby clothes, which is cute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was very cool. And then the biggest thing that got me is, like I said, I've been desperate to hear a conversation between Ahsoka and Luke. And when she said something that, just like your father, I was just like, that got me. That really got me.
It's wild, man. It's wild.
That's like, wow, it's 20. Just what a time for anyone who's, we talk about Vince hating wrestling fans and then Kathleen Kennedy dropping Star Wars. But this one was just, wow. He just gave you everything. And that's still just half of what we talked about. Because it's just like, we got tons of training footage with Grogu and Luke, to the point where people are going to want to show, to the point where people were forgetting, like, hey, this is a Boba Fett show.
And that's not even everything.
No, it's not even everything. We haven't gone back to Tatooine yet. Because, I don't know about you, dude, again, being a fan of Rebels and Clone Wars, when they went back to Tatooine, back to Cobb Vanth, and, Mandalorian just left. He's like, I think you need to be in this fight. He's like, I don't know if we're ready, but I'll see what I can do. And you saw that figure walking, and you saw that hat, and I had like a slow, like, oh, damn. And he walked up, and it was Cad Bane.
They, like, so much going on in this episode.
Because basically dropping Cad Bane in an episode is a strong enough drop to carry an entire episode. Same with R2. Same with Luke. Obviously, they would have been much... Like last year, you would have said, yeah, Luke and R2 over it. But since we already saw them once, to have them drop in the same episode as Cad Bane was just like, wow. And then have Ahsoka come back after we only saw her in one episode. Like, wow, he's really just punching everybody in the mouth.
And you've got... In the legit way, like, when you watch the animated versions or something, and you see Luke in the animated versions with whatever character, it's one thing. But now you're actually seeing actual 1983 Mark Hamill in the movie with 2022 Ahsoka Tano, Rosario Dawson, and then someone who's never been live action. You've got Cad Bane from the cartoons in this shared universe now.
In this world, yeah.
They're all in the same storyline.
Yeah, and still moving the story ahead. That should basically putting the pieces in place of like basically setting up for a big showdown. Like all these pieces are in place. Because not to mention they were still moving the story along with the Pikes and how the Pikes are basically trying to turn Tatooine into a drug running planet. And then here's the big thing that I was seeing is Max Rebo dead. Because that was a big thing. Because, the Pikes went into Jennifer Beals' bar, which we saw a lot of this season, and they blew it up. They left the ice cream maker, which was the freaking deep cut to the thing that the guy was running with in Empire Strikes Back. And everyone's like, why is he holding a homemade ice cream? And now they turned it into a bomb. It's like, these just
That
like,
was the ice cream. I've heard about that.
yeah, that's like crazy. I was like, wow, this guy's like literally he's like, don't worry, dog. I got you not only in your obvious stuff and your sentimental stuff and your retro stuff. I even got you on your deep cuts.
Boom.
Unreal. And then finally getting back to what the Book of Boba Fett is, the battle for Tatooine between Boba Fett and his Inglorious Bastards versus the Pike Syndicate. And we don't even know who's running the Pike Syndicate. Is it going to be Kira? Are we going to get a deep fake Han? Or are we going to see Chewie next to BK? There's so much that still could happen.
After this episode, I'm expecting a lot to happen next week.
Yeah. Because, yeah, there's this. Would you have been disappointed if this was the finale? I wouldn't have. I mean, I would have wanted more, but I would have been like, oh, please don't leave us like this. I can't wait for a year. But, like, it ended with, like, okay, here's the chainmail from Din Djarin. Here's the lightsaber. Which one do you choose?
Yoda's lightsaber.
Yeah, Yoda's lightsaber. Which one do you choose? And they ended on that.
You know, like, the first season of Mandalorian had those Lone Wolf and Cub vibes, you know? Lone Wolf and Cub, right?
Yep.
Anyway, and a lot of that was like in the Wu-Tang album. But anyway, this also had a very Lone Wolf and Cub vibe, because if you watch like on Shogun Assassin, that one that they always reference, there's a scene where it's like, choose this or choose that, and you decide your fate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's telling the son to do that, and they do that with Baby Yoda. It's a lot going on.
And it's a big deal because, a lot of the chatter on the internet, and I agree with it. You probably agree with it too. I mean, the whole dogmatic view of the Jedi caused a lot of the issues that caused the fall of the Jedi. And one of them was your attachments. And Luke basically saved his father. He saved Darth Vader. He saved Anakin by saying, I feel the good in him. I love him. That attachment that you're saying that he's not allowed, I'm going to use that attachment to bring him back. So it was kind of an interesting choice. I thought, wow, this could bring us dangerously close to making Luke a heel if you're going to force Grogu. You're not going to force him, but you're going to basically say you can only do one or another instead of finding that way to have both. And I think Grogu is going to somehow find a way to, he's going to grab both of them and he's going to teach Luke a lesson, because we saw Luke come in at the season 2 finale of Mandalorian, and you're like, okay, this is a Jedi who knows everything. He's got it. He figured it out. This is Luke at his peak. And then when we saw him training Luke, Grogu was like, okay, got it. But then when he was talking to Ahsoka, didn't you get the vibe of just like, oh, just by him asking the question, what do I do? Like, it was like, okay, he doesn't have all the answers.
Right, because now what they're doing, you can have a different arc for Luke, because you had in the original trilogy him going from student to becoming the master. Now you can build the arc of him going from master to becoming a teacher.
Yeah,
he's got to get to that point. He's got to learn how he's going to teach the younglings or whatever to become the new Jedi.
And that's a big deal. And then I feel like, in a weird way, I think Ahsoka Tano became his new Obi-Wan Kenobi, because now you're thinking, okay, because we saw Ahsoka when she came in, she was a little girl, right? She was just she was a youngling. And now we see her as the wise master. She fast forwarded. Now she's the old one. So I was like, okay, so she's not, Luke doesn't have, even though in our timeline, Luke would have seniority, but in that timeline, Luke is just into it 5 years into being a Jedi. This is like year 2 Batman. He's year 5 Luke, although he's super strong. But, we have Ahsoka that's been going for 50 years, since the Clone Wars, that's working for. So she's now his new Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's actually another big connection to Anakin Skywalker through Ahsoka. Because, oh man, I was another one that I cried over so many things in this. I cried. And one of them that got me, she said, I'm an old friend of the family.
Yeah, that's good.
Dude, I'm almost getting welling up just her saying that, like, wow, everything that she went through with Anakin and ending in, when she had that big duel with him in Rebels, against Darth Vader, and basically willing to sacrifice her life, saying, I'm not going to leave you. And I guess she did die in that technically, but we talked about this, the world between worlds. Somehow Ezra got her, and got her out of that, where she technically was going to die facing Anakin. But to say she's an old friend of the family, so that means, wow, there's so much I want to talk about because it's just like, okay, cool, because we saw Luke can see Anakin as a Force ghost. So that means Ahsoka can talk to him again?
Is that a thing?
It's Ahsoka can talk to Anakin as a Force ghost now.
Oh yeah, well they're bringing Anakin back too, right?
Yeah, I mean a lot of people are saying.
You think we'll get Ahsoka in the Obi-Wan show?
Oh, now? Yeah, I think we have to, right?
I don't know.
I mean, because I think we.
I'm not up on all the timelines and on all the cartoons exactly, but
So yes, because Rebels was the last time we saw her. There, and actually Obi-Wan was in Rebels. Actually, you saw Darth Maul finally die officially for good in Rebels in a final duel with Obi-Wan. I don't know if that was a spoiler. Did I just spoil it yet? Was that I don't know if I spoiled you or spoiled the internet. But yeah,
they know what they signed up for.
it matches the timeline, so it could show up. But I was almost thinking, it's like, are we going to see Anakin's Force ghost in this? But because you
Right? Well, who the hell knows what the hell? If the finale is going to top this, I don't know how. I honestly don't even know how it's possible. But you would think the finale is going to have to top this, right?
You would think. You would definitely think. I still think that they have to keep Luke and Boba Fett away because right at this timeline, oh man, yeah, Mike called it the show feels like No Way Home of Star Wars narratively. Yeah, because they're bringing everybody in. And that's the same feeling I got. That's the Garfield walking through the portal feel that when I saw these. But you still
But they're not using a multiverse gimmick.
No.
They're just lining it up.
Yeah, they're just lining it up perfectly. But in thinking about, so Boba Fett, it's been 5 years, right? So he can't really face Luke because last time Luke Skywalker saw him, he had Han and Carbonite, and he was the villain. So I don't know. Maybe he would be willing to forget him, but that might be confusing in the beginning. So you really can't. Can you really have Han and Chewie in this band of brothers? Because it's just like, yeah, I know I just put you in Carbonite 5 years ago, but can we get past that? Because I'm a babyface now. I don't know if you've heard.
Can they pull that off?
I don't know if they can pull that off, but in a way, they probably don't even need to. Like, I would be okay if they kept them away because we got Cad Bane in there now. We got the only one is maybe you can see like no, not even Chewbacca, dude. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do next week. But this is a one that I told you I've been waiting. The last two I gotta wait for mornings. This is a set the alarm and get up at 2:30 and just watch it live.
I think they're going to have to keep it, whatever goes on, I think you're right. They're going to have to keep it a little bit separated to protect everybody else,
Yeah.
right? But I think it's going to have to do with the Pikes. Maybe we'll get a Han Solo cameo in whatever the resolution to the Pike storyline is. Like you said, whoever's leading up the Pikes knows Han Solo, I bet.
Well, if it's
And that's a spoiler.
Yeah, that's the spoiler. But that's the rumor is it is Kira, right? And in Solo, that was his girlfriend before Leia was Kira. And then at the end, you saw that she was basically going to be Darth Maul's. She was Darth Maul's number 2. So at this point, we never saw her die. So she would be the number 1 running it. And obviously, there's a big conflict between that would put that love triangle between Han, Leia, and Kira, which we never had because it's just like you always thought, Leia was the love of his life, but you think that was later on in his life. We saw that it was Kira in the beginning. So do you think that they can actually do that? But that's a lot of deep faking. You'll have to have a deep fake Leia.
I kind of feel they're going to leave it to one deep fake at a time right now. That might be a huge leap once you start going multiple deep fakes, right?
Agreed.
I think they're going to keep it simple, have one deep fake character in each scene because I think it's even like acting for an actor to act with a deep fake. I bet it's difficult. So
yeah,
I think they're still working on it, but I think we'll get there eventually.
I think so. But man, we've already got a ton. Black Krrsantan was huge for me. He's my favorite new character. I want to see him do more. We got basically Jabba's brothers, cousins, uncles. We got 2 Hutts that were in there, so that kind of had the Hutt nod.
The Jabba twins.
Yeah, we got, we got to see the Sarlacc pit. We got to see what was Danny Trejo. They got the new monster under the table.
That was at the back lot where they were filming.
Yeah.
Boba Fett. Robert Rodriguez was filming it all on his phone.
So many nods. We got to see, Beggar's Canyon. We got to see Womp Rats. We got to see
Naboo
Starfighter. Man, we got so much. So, I don't even want to be greedy, because I feel like they've, as much like I said, the motor scooters were really the only complaint. And even then, they're making the mean motor scooters kind of just look like scouts. Like they're not, because she even said, finally, we got muscle with Black, with BK. I have trouble with my accent saying Krishantian. My dad didn't know how to say three. He had to say tree. So I think I used to laugh at that, but I think I got that now. Black Krishantian.
Chrysanthemum? Is that what he is?
Chrysanthemum. I can't say it with my tongue. But anyway, him and Mandalorian, they're like, now we got real muscle. So they're really making the mean motor scooters, the mods, which I like the name. It's a cool name, mods. They're making them more like scouts.
I think they're fine.
They're not fighters. They're scouts.
They're fine. They had that action sequence. Maybe they should have edited that out. Maybe.
Yeah.
Just leave it out. Leave it in the cutting room floor. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it was just the car chase, right? That's the only thing that got everybody.
Yeah. And as a whole, the first 5 episodes seem stretched out anyway. Imagine if they had taken those 5 episodes and maybe shrunk them down into 3 or 2, and that's it. And we get a full, solid explanation of Boba Fett's backstory. Gotcha. And then move on to the Mandalorian, what he's up to, and then boom, put them together. Here we go.
I see what you're saying. So the Book of Boba Fett would actually be like a story arc to the Mandalorian versus its own show.
Exactly. Just like it's a 2-episode arc, and then we cut back to the Mandalorian.
Well, you think about it, right? It was just like they stretched it into 4, but it could have been a 3.
Stretched it into 5.
It could have been 3. Oh,
no,
yeah,
4. You're right.
4, and then this, because this one, Boba Fett didn't have a lot of face time in this one either.
Yeah,
I mean,
or just do just do a 2-hour movie, and then move us into the rest of the Mandalorian. I don't know.
Well, it looks like it's going that way anyway. I don't really foresee. I'd be curious if they're going to do a Book of Boba Fett season 2. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I guess it just depends. Well, I mean, I say probably not, but I guess it really depends on how they resolve this, because as much as this show was grounded, like I think the biggest thing about Mandalorian is people loved it was just like George Lucas dreamed of. Always, I'm going to take you to a different exotic planet and a different each movie. This is a water planet. This is a fire planet. This is a tree planet. The whole planet's a city, Anakin. That, where this was just like everything that took place on Tatooine. This was just the Tatooine show. And I think a lot of people started to get claustrophobic, like, I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough, and it gets everywhere. Storyline-wise, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good, everything that's going on right now. And I think they made the mistake. I guess maybe they feel like a streaming show that comes out and is only 5 episodes would be a rip, so they want to stretch it out. Or I just think they could have definitely taken those first 4, turned them into 2, given us this. People would be way happier. Everyone would be in a good mood.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't, and like just these past 2 episodes, everybody already forgot. I do feel bad a little bad for Boba Fett, because I feel like everybody's kind of like, now he's kind of pushed to the side, and for years and years we wanted to see what happened to Boba, and now we did, and now everyone's like, cool, go back to Grogu. That was just like, that's kind of a bummer. But
honestly, the Mandalorian or Din Djarin kind of stole Boba Fett's gimmick. So once Boba Fett enters the show, he can't really do this. He can't do. He has to. They had to rebrand him or whatever, repackage him.
Wow, you're right. He stole the gimmick, and that's why it feels different, because the way Mando acts is the way everyone thought Boba was going to act.
Exactly.
But Boba had the thing crawl up his nose, so he went on the vision quest. So, but I'm so psyched for the finale. But what I really want. I was of the mind that they were not going to even bring Grogu back, and I thought that was going to be a blowback for Mandalorian season 3. Everyone was going to be like, "Where's Grogu?" And they're like, "Well, that was the Foundling arc, but now we're moving on to the Siege of Mandalore arc, so we're not going to do that." So when they brought him back for this show. Like I told you, even Theory was like last week, I think we're going to see seeing Grogu. Was like, oh man, that's not going to happen. I don't even want to get my hopes up. So when it happened, I was like, wow. And now I'm starting to think, what you think they realize what they have on their hands, and now Grogu is going to become the center of this new Star Wars world as we know it.
I think they know exactly, and that is why they did it this way. I think that the folks over there at Disney, whoever's making decisions, said, we don't have time to make 10 Mandalorians. We can make 3 and get them out by next Christmas. We can do 3.
Yeah.
And I really think that was the issue. And it's like, well, we can't just put out 3 episodes. What else can we do? Oh, let's expand Boba Fett for a while, and then have that as the sort of like setup for the 3 Mandalorians.
Yeah.
And get somebody who can do it on the cheap and fast.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, dude.
Get Robert Rodriguez. Come on.
I think you're absolutely right, and that sounds right, and I think people are okay with it, but I think you're right. I think that's what they did, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because we still got Star Wars in lore, in universe storytelling, and to me, that's enough. And
it's fine. And if they had just packaged it that way, I think folks would all around be happier. But I mean, yeah, it's good. But you don't have to. Just give us what we want. It's all good. You don't have to overfeed us. It doesn't have to be 4 episodes when it can be 2.
Yeah, and I'm just you're right. And they could have done this annual, but I think we're gonna get that cadence where we're gonna have more than one Star Wars show a year eventually, right? I think that's gonna happen. Because
There'll be at least one.
We'll have Obi-Wan this year, right? I think that is this year. We should have it, and then we should have the rest of the Mandalorian. But I'm really hoping that they do what Netflix tried to do and it didn't work. Where we got Daredevil, we got Luke Cage, we got Iron Fist, and we got Jessica Jones, and then it turned into the Defenders. I want that super show that's going to happen, and that would be even cool if they made that theatrical. And the rumor is it's going to be Grand Admiral Thrawn, and somehow Ezra is going to come back. And it's possible now that we got Cad Bane and Ahsoka again. I would be cool if it's all leading to an Avengers type, an Endgame type event.
And you know what? I'm cool with it not going theatrical. I enjoy this new thing that Disney's doing. I guess maybe HBO too. I like staying up till 2 a.m. and watching it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I had problem. I did it for Wanda, and I still have fond memories of barely just waking up, and I was like, oh, I got to go back to bed. But Wanda's on, and I jumped up, and I went and saw that. And same thing. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning when I had the Luke reveal, and I was just weeping. And I think it's just that time of day, everything's already heightened. So I'm okay with it, but I do wonder if they're going to do now go to the theaters, now watch at home, now go to the theaters, now go watch at home.
I don't think you can do that. I feel like if what works on TV because it's built into a TV format.
Yeah.
It's like when The Simpsons did a movie.
Oh man, but I love The Simpsons.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just The Simpsons at the movies. It's not really different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but and Simpsons even leaned into that. It's just like no one would be dumb enough to go to a theater to pay for something what they could see at home for free, right?
Right. Or like the X-Files.
Give me what I want. Give me what I want. I don't know if that was the Batista line. Give me what I want. But I just want more. I want more Star Wars like this, and I was just so happy. And I feel like we're doing this show, and this was going to be like our big finale show. But this one was so big that it felt like a finale, and we really got one more left.
One more.
We got one more left, and I don't think Ahsoka or Obi-Wan is going to be the next show. The rumor is we might get an Obi-Wan trailer at the Super Bowl, but it's a small rumor.
What for though? Do they need to do that?
Dude, all they need to say is the Obi-Wan show is coming, and they never have to show a trailer, but they're gonna. And I think it's just it can just be a small teaser. I don't think they should show if he is in it, and we know he's in it. I don't think they should show Anakin. Just showing hello there would be enough. That's all they have to do in the Super Bowl. Save your money. 30 seconds. Just have Obi-Wan, the name on the screen for 28 seconds, and then have his head pop up and say, hello there, and then just end. And everyone's like, Disney Plus, here's my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't need it. But that's the rumor. But that's, I guess, one of the shows we're not getting the Rangers of the New Republic anymore since they fired Cara Dune, which is kind of a bummer. That because that was going to be one of the shows that was supposedly leading into this super event, and they could have booked Sonya Deville to be Cara Dune. She actually offered that, and if you think about it, I mean, Cara Dune, what's her name? I don't remember her name.
Gina Carano?
Yeah, Gina Carano. She was a lot bigger than Sonya Deville, but she had the same presence. She could have done a version of that, I think, pulled it off, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're just going to scrap it.
No, they're going to do and then Cara Dune returned to her home planet.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bummer, because she really was a strong character. She really was a good character, and it's unfortunate that leak over.
Times we're living in, man.
Yeah.
Weird times we're living in.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. So coming up next week, Book of Boba Fett season finale. We'll watch and we'll do a live report right here, as right after we can't compete with Star Wars Theory and Dude in the middle of the night. Dude, that dude had 10,000 people on his YouTube page yesterday. 10,000.
That would be a trip, but we could, honestly.
Yeah.
If you want to. We could put on the house show at 2 a.m.
Yeah, we could. I'm down to try it. I mean, it could be fun.
I mean, it can totally do it. We could play it, do the reaction. I'll do the timer. I can do the whole bit.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. Yeah, that might be fun, right?
Yeah, could happen.
Yeah,
Why not?
Let us know. Let us know at home if you want to see that. But that could be super fun.
Give us thumbs up in the chat.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that. So what else? Well, we got 7:30. I know we had one more topic, but we don't necessarily have to hit it. Our Austin friend here, David Blue Garcia, is going to be directing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022.
Cue the chainsaw sound effect.
Yes. It's dropping on Netflix in 2 weeks. The trailer dropped, but we can do a quick reaction video. What did you think? They're going the Halloween route. No other Texas Chainsaw Massacre counts. This is only the first one counts, and we're fast forwarding, and it's now 50 years later. And I'm popping for it because you worked with David too, right? He's a good guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a really cool guy, very, very humble, very nice. He wasn't when he was directing, his direction was all good. He had good, solid work, and I really liked it. So it was cool. I was happy for him. And they also got John Larroquette back.
Yeah. You got to get John Larroquette back.
So that's just like there. So to me, they're really honoring, again, it's the times we're living in now. It's a really weird time as far as, like you said, the cancel culture thing, but people are respecting franchises now, and they're leaning into universes and lores and rule books and franchises. And
it's IP, bro. IP rules the world.
IP rules the world, and they're leaning into it. And
IP rules everything around me.
So they're like, okay, forget it. All the other stuff went off the rails. So let's just say this is 50 years later, and now we're gonna, and because the character who's in that is Sally. She is the girl who survived the first one. Now, it's not the same actor. It's not the same actress. Are you not allowed to say actress anymore? I don't know. Just say actor?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, it's not the same actress, but it is the same character. So remember, she survived, drove away in the truck, and then he had he was doing so she comes back, and she's playing basically the Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode. I've been waiting 50 years to face this guy. So it looks good, though. It looks really cool. I think it's going to be really gruesome because they really leaned into that hammer to the head. And I was like, whoa, that was a big one. You got to make that dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. And like you said, working with David, brilliant cinematographer.
Yes.
Brilliant shooter. You just knew that his stuff looked way better than anything you would see. But the movie looks, the new Leatherface mask where it's kind of like drooping off of him now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
it's 50
it's got
years
almost
old,
like
right?
a Toxic Avenger kind of a look to it.
It does. It really does. He does have a Toxic Avenger look. Yeah. So I'm, like you said, he's a great cinematographer. So leaning into that, I think it's going to be shot beautifully, and that's really important. And this is, the Mount Rushmore of slashers. He was one of the rotating four. He doesn't. But some people would say he's a solid 4. Like, I think if you voted on that last 4, it would be Leatherface that would probably win the vote over like Ghostface and Chucky and Pinhead and what's the Candyman.
I feel like Leatherface is a solid 4, and those others are the alternates.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
I agree. So that's gonna be really cool. We do have a podcast queued up that we haven't used when we visited the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. So I just realized maybe we should drop that around the same time.
Oh, yeah. We got to put that out.
Yeah, we still got it. It's all queued up and ready to go. So, but check out that trailer if you've not seen it. It looks very, very cool. And we are actually going to do an extended version of this. And even though they are not going to count all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequels and prequels, we're going to go over them one by one so we can drop a super show on our audio network. Like, because we did one for Jason, we did one for Freddy, we did one for Scream. We didn't do one for Chucky. Oh, we did one for Halloween. So
yeah,
we did.
We're calling this a premium podcast event.
Premium podcast event. P.S. It was a long day. PPE. Oh, yeah, not PPV, PPE. So check it out. So I'm good, dog. If we want to wrap.
Yeah, man.
That was a good wrap. So good show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Mike. Thanks, JJ. They're quicker than a hiccup on the facts that we miss, especially on days that I get locked out of the car and get audited and all that other stuff. So here I go again. Girls, what's my weakness? Dinner, because we hungry. Johnny hungry. So we'll see you next week. Peace.
Later, y'all.